Right, so if you're watching this segment, I am going to be showing how to pull on the early Porsche 944s the instrument control cluster, these gauges here, because I'm doing a LED upgrade. So this video was recorded after the fact, so I don't want to say I'm going to contradict myself, but maybe you'll see some wiring and be like, hey, those guys weren't there, yada yada. Bottom line, this video was recorded a week or two after I made the video. And I pulled this from my parts car because the video that I actually recorded several times actually describing the LEDs was damaged somehow. So I apologize for that and the inconsistency of the videos. They should make sense. I tried to splice them as best as I could, so hopefully that'll work out okay. So these are, of course, loose there, so they're not going to make much sense. But I wanted to kind of show the different type of LED connections, the different type of bulbs, and which LEDs I actually upgraded. So first and foremost, these are 3 different types of bulbs here that you're going to use. This is the factory, and this is one of the many. This particular bulb is the one that I actually upgraded on. I believe it's I'm gonna say 6 different LEDs. I tried these at first and they worked well, really nice. They just pop in and out, but I ended up going with this style here, and you'll hear on the video described as I believe ice blue, and I should have the links down at the bottom. If I don't, bear with me, they will get updated, so check back to see. And as you can tell, it has to do with the sizing. I actually bought some that were given to me that were a little bit longer, and they didn't work. So you got to make sure when you get the LED replacements for the early dash that they do say SMD for the small 3 there. Sorry about that. For the small 3. So the way these are installed is when you have, and I'll show you where these go here, and it's very simple. As you can tell, there are several connections there on both sides, and the trick to it is you would simply push it in, you install it, and then you turn it on and test it. If it doesn't light up, that just means that the polarity is reversed, and so you have to yank them out, push them back in, and then they should work. So you want to check that before you install it, and pretty much you want to make sure that your dashes there's no loose wires, and you just turn on the parking lights. On the Porsche 944 you have 3. You have the first one that's just the parking lights that go all the way around, and the side markers, and then when you hit the final push on the button, then the headlights come on as well. So that is where it's received, and again, you just push it in, pull it out as necessary. Now, if you go to super bright LEDs, and you'll show me probably talk to them about the videos, this is the LED that they sell. Great little kit. You just install it, turn it. It's grounded through there, which is it's supposed to be. So this is really nice. The reason why I changed a couple of these out is because I didn't like the fact that this was not replaceable. I wanted to be able to keep this and then just pop this out and pull it back in. That way I can just buy a whole bunch of LEDs for, I don't know, I think it's like 12 for $4, or I can buy this unit for anywhere between $2.50 to $4. That's super bright LEDs. Great product though, so I'm not dissing them or dinging the product itself. You heard me talk about it in the video, but I just want to show it. These are the connections that I got from Amazon, and this goes in and turns as well, but this here is not grounded like this LED is here. So this grounds when you turn it in and twist it. So let's go ahead and let's see here, show that. So here is the back end of the water and gas sensor. I left these alone because I think those guys are bright enough. You don't really need a super bright LED. You can, but you know, and it's these connections here. Notice that it has two little tab openings, and that's where, see the little tabs on the side of that guy there? Say that. So that goes in like that. Oops, sorry about that. That goes in and simply twists. Once it twists, it's locked into place. Now notice there is no grounding points on these because the ground is here. Now since this is 2, you know, you just have to play with it to see what, but that should be your ground. Of course, that's your positive. Here, when you put it in and twist it, it automatically is grounded and automatically receives the connectivity for it. So either or, it's the simplicity of doing that without having to wire them in. So these are the 2 that I replaced. And again, I did it with these, and you'll see it in the video. So I just installed these, and now they just connect directly. On the back of the speedometer here is a slightly different connection. So this type of connection is grounded on the inside, but it looks similar to this. See, so this guy just clips in, and this ties in to the harness that's back there. To replace these, same thing. You have to pull this out. There's your bulb, and then put the new LEDs in. So for the speedometer, these are the 2 that I replaced here, and it gives me a pretty good 1, 2, I'm not sure if I did that one. Yeah, I did all 3 here. So by doing that, this guy lights up quite nicely on opposite ends, and it looks really well. So I just wanted to show you what those look like, and similar on the last one here on the tachometer there, on the tach here, you have 2, and same thing. Put them on there. Now see this little plug right here? This is the ground for this unit, which ties into the factory harness as well. You know, you'll see all these grounds that are tied in together through all of the units. And I added a special ground there, and again, you'll see that on the video, but just kind of clarifying where I got that. And again, I did this video after the fact, so just explaining where I got these. And again, this guy just slides into there, slides out. And again, you put it in for these, and all you do is just punch them in, and they're grounded. This one's a broken one, a defective one, but there's a little clips on the side of the actual harness here, and you plug it in, and that grounds it out. So I just wanted to make sure that I was showing how that was done. So this is part 1. This is the actual part of the console for an early Porsche 944. That's the LED upgrades that I did. In the next couple of videos, you're actually going to see how to get to this, how to pull the gauges out, the instrument cluster out, and I'm also going to show a little bit of the grounding that I did, plus a final video showing what the LEDs actually look like on there. And I'll do my best to post all the links. Anyways, just wanted to make sure I got that out of the way. So as part of the project here, this video, I'm going to cover how to remove the steering wheel all the way down to the instrument cluster. You have to do all of this to get to the instrument cluster, and what I'm doing is I'm going to be replacing the white LEDs that I have back here with some light blue ones that I got from a friend. He kind of took my advice. He upgraded his. He ordered an extra pack, so I'm going to see what these, they're not blue, they're light blue. So I'm just curious, so we might as well do it since we're taking it all apart. So first and foremost, the only things you're really going to need, if I'm not mistaken, is just a 24mm socket, a plastic upholstery wedge, preferably for some of the switches, and then a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver. So, all right, let's take a look at this. So first, you got to remove pad here. Now, some of the steering wheels are square, the horn pad is, but you just pop it off the 3 corners, and then there is a ground wire back here. And so what you need to do is you got to make sure that you pull it off this little plug here, so don't yank it off all the way. All right, so once you get this part, the 24mm nut will be exposed. So I've removed this steering wheel a couple of times, so it's a lot harder than that. Oops. Now, for some of you guys, if you've never removed a steering wheel before, you're going to be looking at probably renting a steering wheel puller, unless you feel you have the finesse to pull it without damaging any components. Some people I've seen grab their knees, get in here and just kind of pop it out. Again, I've already removed this several times, so it's really just a little spacer there, a little washer, and the nut. So set those guys aside. Now when you're here, you're gonna have 2 screws at the bottom of this plastic molding here. So let's go ahead and take that off, and they're different sizes, so try to remember that. This one is the slightly smaller one, maybe about 1/2 inch. And this is the longer one. Now by removing these 2 screws, you're able to take the bottom piece off. The front piece will not come off, or you shouldn't force it off until you've started pulling this here, so just keep that in mind. All right, let me adjust the camera here so we can see it a little bit better. All right, so now that you're here, you have 3 screws that you need to remove, and these are flathead. And yeah, first time I saw these guys, kind of tripped me out. So this is on an early Porsche 944. If you saw the intro, you noticed that my project is, I actually started with a 924S, a 1987 924S, but the engine wasn't salvageable, and I ended up buying a parts car for it, which ended up being a Porsche 944 1988. Only to find out that none of the interior was compatible. But I got the 88 up and running, and that one, as I said in the intro video, suffered from the gas line issue, so it caught on fire. Now I bought this guy, and I've had it for a while, but I'm finally doing all the little things. So again, we're pulling out now the flasher and lights and windshield wiper, and you have 2 switches down here, and you use the flathead screwdriver, or at least that's what I do, just to get a little bit of leverage. And then you come in here so you don't damage any of the electrical components with the plastic wedge, and just yank those guys out. This one's a lot easier to do here. There we go. Once those clips are out, this guy can start sliding forward, and that's when you can remove the cover there. It's really stuck over there. All right, and that popped out my last screw. Looks like the bottom screw was stripped, so that we're gonna have to fix that a little bit later, but as long as the 2 screws are holding, we should be okay. All right, so set that aside very carefully. And now the last part to get to the instrument cluster is these 2 screws right here. Now normally I would have a magnetic pan to put all my parts here, but right now this car is parked. I'm going to be doing the timing and sealing the front end. I already did the oil pan gasket, so that's the only reason why I have that there. So now this guy slides right out. Now you're going to be pulling on the speedometer cable, so you're not going to get too much out of here, so be very, very careful on the early cars there. Now mine, the speedometer cable is hanging, so don't expect to get this much clearance like I'm getting. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But it's perfect for this video. So my speedometer is dangling, so now I'm going to kind of show you guys. Let me just take my LEDs, put the blue ones in. So now, I don't like how it doesn't really bring them out, but so now I'm going to have blue LEDs, as you can tell. They're going to be inside. Oil pressure, the clock, which of course doesn't work. I'm putting these 2 little extra ones down there. And what I also did is I replaced, this is what they were originally, but notice those aren't replaceable. These are the ones I got from Super Bright LEDs. Great place. I mean, if you want to get these, they're okay, but normally these are supposed to be replaceable. Since they didn't have those, I ordered these from Amazon, of course. And let's see if we can get that guy on there. Regardless, they're really cool. I'll see if I can link it down at the bottom. But they're just T5 74. I think it'll be like 73, 75 LED or bulbs, and you get these little wires here. And of course, I connected them. I don't know if you can tell here, but I made a little Y connection to one of the power sources, which is the blue and white. And then the ground here, I ran it to the ground that I had gotten from, of course, here. So I'm not overwhelming at the existing grounds. As you can tell, they're, gosh, what is this, 18 gauge? Really thin, the original factory. So that's why I did this here, so I could branch out and, you know, not really pull from it. Even though LEDs don't, that's the case. So the next step is going to be this little wire right here. And I'm going to tee that one off from here, branch it out, and drop it somewhere down here, because I'm going to be putting a blue highlight strip down here, and I'll be doing the same thing on that side. So that way I do the prep work, just drop it in there, and then when it's time, I can just swap it in and out. And that was another reason why I did the grounding on this side as well. As you can tell, I branched 2 wires out here, just so that in the future, if I need something, I'll take that. Like I said, somebody got in this car and snipped a lot of wires, I don't know, and never fixed them. So I'm having some issues here, but overall it's looking good, and these guys fit right in. As you can tell, that guy's already in place there, just goes in and turns. So pretty happy about the way it's coming out. All right, so as you can see, it's kind of setting. I mean, the moon is completely out, and I wanted to show you the LED final product just so you would have an idea of what they look like. I kind of covered it up there just so that we get a better feel for it. And as you can already see, these guys are looking great. Now, there's the dark bluer ones over in the center console, and as you can tell, I try to get them to match the radio, and it looks like it came out okay. However, for the console here, for the gauges, I wanted it a little bit brighter, but I still wanted the little tint of blue just around the edges. I have the white ones, and those were great, but sometimes it just felt in your face. So I am really happy with the ones that I was provided, and honestly, I bought a set myself, and I cleaned them up because unfortunately I had to do a little bit of tweaking with the ones that I did get, as you saw in the previous videos. But I have one more thing that I'm going to do to make them a little bit more stable. Regardless, again, this ice blue color here looks great. It really does. And that's really what I'm seeing. I did the video at this time because I did it at night and it would just pop super bright, and I didn't want to give anybody the wrong impression. But I noticed around this time, the video and what the console really truly looks like is almost identical. Again, these guys are kind of dingy, so I don't know that I'm going to keep these LEDs in here. Again, I like that it matches the radio. And I only really need to see that this line is moving here and it's staying somewhere in that area. So I might keep them. I'm not sure. But there you go. So, you know, try it. Again, this is for the early ones. I did a conversion on a later vehicle. Maybe I will pop that out of the parts car and show you. But for now, finished product. Hope you guys like it.